is not a mere technician. He is also a child, confronting natural phenomena that impress him as though they were fairy tales. Marie Curie spoke these words after discovering her love for science and her ambition to study science her entire life. She became a scientist of great standing, and the first woman scientist ever to have gained worldwide fame for her discoveries. But who was Marie Curie? She was a scientist, a wife, and a mother. Her scientific findings affect our entire understanding of radioactivity. Before Marie Curie's discoveries, there was very little known about radioactivity besides that uranium was radioactive and could be used to see through solid objects such as wood and bone. She took these previous findings even further, winning 2 Nobel Prizes in recognition for women scientists since. But Marie Curie was more than just a scientist. She was a person as well. On November 7, 1867, there was born a beautiful brown-haired girl. This child was given the name Maria Sklodowska, and throughout her childhood she was known only as Manya. Manya lived with her parents, her brother, and her 3 older sisters. Manya was the star of the family. She could read by age 4, and she was always the best in her class. Although she excelled at school, Manya's life was not perfect. She first experienced death when Zosia, her older sister, died of typhus when she was only 9. 1 year later, Manya had her second experience with death when tuberculosis finally claimed her mother's life. But despite all of that, Manya still remained a spirited, intelligent girl. Manya graduated from secondary school in the top of her class, and after a brief respite, she traveled to Paris to continue her education there. There she enrolled with the French version of her name, Marie. After graduating with a master's degree in physics and mathematics in only 3 years, Marie needed a laboratory. A friend introduced her to Pierre Curie, the head of the physics laboratory at the university. They married within a year and continued to study chemistry and physics together. That is when Marie Curie heard of the works on radioactivity, conducted by Wilhelm Röntgen and Henry Becquerel. She and her husband immediately began work on radioactivity. They soon discovered and isolated 2 new elements, polonium and radium, from a sample of the mineral uraninite. 1903 proved to be an important year for Marie Curie, as she received her doctorate, being the first woman ever to do so, and in conjunction with her husband and Henry Becquerel, won the 1903 Nobel Prize for their joint discovery of radiation. Pierre and Marie Curie were now known around the world, which made his death even more devastating. After her husband's death, Marie Curie fell into depression, yet she continued her work. She took Pierre's place as head of the physics laboratory and even founded a radium institute in Pierre's memory. In 1911, she received her second Nobel Prize, this time in chemistry, for her discovery of polonium and radium. She continued her work on radiation until Germany invaded France in 1914. Although Marie Curie was not born in France, she loved her new country greatly and wished to aid in the war. Her contribution towards the war effort was to create and organize 20 mobile X-ray stations, and over 200 stationary ones. These X-ray stations aided doctors in finding bullets, shrapnel, and bone fragments in their patients. These X-ray stations saved hundreds of lives, as did the 150 women that Marie trained to serve as X-ray technicians on these stations. Marie Curie was not able to be actively involved in the war, so she returned to her laboratory in Paris to continue her work on radiation. Eventually, though, the radiation exposure got to be too much for her, and she died of aplastic anemia, a disease resulting from being exposed to too much radiation. Marie Curie was a strong, capable woman who contributed many discoveries to the field of science, including the foundations of our understanding of radioactive materials. Marie, or Manya, was known worldwide for her accomplishments, but she never let that go to her head. She remained down to earth and faithful to her family, her studies, and her adopted country her entire life.